right, traders, we are currently trading at unheard levels in terms of the stock market. We're going to be breaking down the SPY. We're going to be breaking down the VIX. This is a key, critical, make it or break it level. In terms of the micro, the short-term price action, we are about to see a very volatile, a very lucrative trading opportunity. And I'm going to try my best to assist you with this short-term trading opportunity, guys. The market was closed today on Monday. You know everyone's going to be fired up to start trading heading into Tuesday, especially since we're at such a key make it or break it level. So with that being said, this is going to give you a much better understanding on when to be bullish, when to buy the call options, when to be bearish, when to buy the put options. In terms of the short term, we are due for some sort of bounce and we are at a very strong key level. But in terms of the macro and in terms of the overall picture, this is going to get ugly. We are going much, much lower into this year and things are looking extremely bearish. With that being said, if you guys have been following my channel, I've been calling tops on SPY since the 470s. Buy and put options extremely bearish on the SPY. And if you've been following my videos from the very beginning, if you go back and watch all my videos, I told you guys, my plan is to consistently make money trading these options. And then from there, once I feel like it's a great time and a good time to start investing, once we're seeing signs of life again, we're seeing signs of a potential bull market, then I'm going to start investing towards the bottom. I think we're far from the bottom. And like I said, I've been sitting pretty much all cash, not investing anything. I'm using my money to trade options. And then I'm using those profits to reinvest back into the options trades. And then once I feel like it's going to be a great time to start investing into the stock market, which there will be within the next 6 to 12 months, I'm going to start deploying heavily into stocks, into leap options, and then grow a much smaller trading account and scale it back up and compound it like I've been doing. So that's been my game plan. If you've been following my videos from the start, you are well aware that I told people all I'm going to be doing is trading put options mainly, and I'm not going to be investing any of my money. So moving forward, that remains the plan. I still think we're far from the overall bottom. So let's get right into it. So in terms of the SPY, we need to go over this level because this type of level, this is unheard of. And in terms of the volatility and the shock factor, it is definitely kicking in terms of that inflation, that recession. It is definitely starting to kick in. You can just tell by the price action that it's absolutely insane. I mean, literally just within the past week, we went from 415 to $362. Absolutely insane in terms of volatility, in terms of the price action. Now, I want to bring awareness and write these two levels down because this is key. We're going to be going over two levels. It's basically three levels, but pretty much it's just two levels. So let's get into it. This is the first level I want you to remember. This right here, this is right around, the COVID time, and then COVID hit and the market sold off like crazy. It dropped over like 33 or 35% in a month, rapid fire. You can see we're finally starting to get the volatility back where we're dropping very, very quickly. The high of this, write this level down, $338.60. Write that level down. That's going to be our first make it or break it level. This level has big downside potential. This is where it literally flash crashed. Now, these are the other levels, and these are the more relevant ones in terms of right now. These levels right here, both of these levels have big downside potential. This level right here, $358.75, and this level right here, which is where we're at right now, $364.38. So these are the three levels. I want you to keep an eye on these three levels. In terms of that best level, this is going to be in terms of this year, one of my most favorite levels into this year is going to be this level right here, this $338. That's going to be one of my most favorite levels of interest. Now, in terms of the micro, let's talk the micro price action. We're going to be going over the VIX as well, and we're going to be going over how to trade the best setups at the best prices, right? So let's get into this. So we experienced a rapid sell-off with multiple gaps that are waiting to fill above, right? In terms of over the weekend, Bitcoin had a very, very massive crash, went from 20 to 18K, then it started recovering. We could see something very similar with the SPY where it has a pullback and then instantly recovers for the micro because we've just had such a hard sell-off. Now, if we just take a look, and what we need to focus on is these two levels right here. So this is going to be our make it or break it level into this week. We're going to call it $364. $364, we're going to call our make it or break it level. If 364 cracks, the SPY is going to sell off hard for the micro. If 364 cracks, SPY is going to be on track to sell off hard, and it will be on track to pull back to right around here. So if it cracks 364, we're going to be on track to go to $358. That will be the target for the SPY if it cracks 364 and turns it into resistance. Our next make it or break it level is at 358. That's where we can see some sort of bounce. If that cracks, then it's going to get very, very ugly to 340s. Remember this level. This is that key make it or break it level 338, right? So in terms of another key level heading into this week and make it or break it level, it's going to be that 364. That 364 area, that level is a key make it or break it level. Now, in terms of bull theory, let's talk bull theory for the micro, right? So in terms of micro and in terms of bull theory and in terms of, bringing awareness to what's overall going on, you can see right here in terms of the SPY, we are currently at $369.31. Heading into the future hours trading session, we are now at $369.31. So this is gapping up. This is ripping up, right? It's recovering, just like Bitcoin had its recovery. So with that being said, now that we're having such a massive gap up, as you can see right here, I want to bring awareness to the previous closing price. Focus on 365.86, the previous closing price, 365.86. That is going to be a key make it or break it level. This blue line right here heading into this week, I want to see how it reacts when it fills that gap below. If it reacts to strong support, it's going to be on track for reversal and rip back up to about right here. As you can see, it's at 369 right now. If it reacts to support, it'll be on track to rip back up towards here, which is going to be 372. This is our make it or break it resistance levels, right? So in terms of make it or break it resistance, it's going to be $372. In terms of make it or break it support, it's going to be $365.86. So our key resistance right here, 372. Why is this key resistance? Because you could see this is a key level. It bottoms at 372. It rockets. This is during the Fed. It rockets to $384. And then you can see once it cracks and reacts as a resistance, instead of having that big rocket move, it has that big downside move. So here's what I want you to understand heading into tomorrow. Two levels for tomorrow. Now that we're gapping up, you can visually see here during the futures trading session, now that we're gapping up, two levels into tomorrow. This level right here, 372, make it or break it. That's our resistance level. This level right here, 365.86. That's our support level, right? So I gave you the zone, the best levels to be trading at heading into tomorrow, heading into this week as of now, and this stays updated. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. This updates every single day. We update these key levels. And then in terms of the pre-market trading session, we update new levels as well. In terms of live trading session, we update new levels as well. Friday was a fantastic trading day. I had so many phenomenal scalps with same day expirations where I was making 30 to 50% returns in a couple minutes, scalping options with size. It was absolutely insane, man. I'm really starting to trade SPY a lot more, and I'm finding some key strategies to use with the SPY that aren't just the gap strategies. I'm working more on developing more of a system that is solely based on trading the SPY and nothing else. But I'm still going to be trading stocks as well. I'm just working more of a scalping type of strategy. But guys, this is what I want you to understand, right? So we are overall bearish, right? And we're seeing a massive gap up. We're due for some sort of bounce, right? And we hit one of those key critical 3 levels where SPY can potentially bounce, right? So when we hit it, now it's bouncing, now it's gapping up. So this is now from 362 to 369. So in terms of levels of awareness, this right here, 372. If it breaks out, reacts to support, we're going to pump to how high? We'll pump to right around here. 370, 378. If it reacts as a resistance, showing signs of weakness, it's going to sell off. It's going to react as a resistance, it's going to sell off. It's going to come back down to fill this gap below at 366, if that happens, right? And then we see how it reacts. See if it has a gap, close reversal, looks strong, reacts to support level, buy the dip. If it looks bearish, then I would sway away from it. So just to understand in terms of opportunity for puts, right now, the opportunity that I'm bringing awareness to are these two key levels for the resistance. If it reacts bearish here, play the puts at 372, use a stop for about $1. So if it goes to 373, that's the max pain. You get stopped out, then I'm going to look to try puts right here at $378. That information that I'm mainly sharing as of now is mainly relevant, just mainly for tomorrow. But the overall chart and the overall concept is still relevant. But in terms of these targets, that's mainly in terms of tomorrow. That's mainly what I'm interested in doing. So I'm going to look for potential put opportunities at 372 if it looks bearish. Got to wait for confirmation. If not, or if I get stopped down play puts, then I wait for 378. In terms of buying and dip buying confirmations, $366, 365.86. There's going to be a gap to fill below into tomorrow since we're having such a nice gap up right here during extended hours. So 365.86 reacts bullish, reacts to support. Look to scalp calls. Like I said, Friday was an absolutely phenomenal trading day within the chat room on the channel SPY SPX. I was alerting my trades 100% in real time. I had multiple phenomenal scalps, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a phenomenal week, man. I'm already seeing some great setups. We are literally having an overreaction. This bottomed at 362, now an overreaction gapping up to 370, and we are approaching a key make it or break it level, which we're going to call that 370, 3 to 372 zone right here, make it or break it. If it breaks out, reacts to support, we rip to 378. If it reacts as a resistance and it breaks down, we fill the gap below at 366. Not really interested in the idea of buying calls on the breakout. I want to focus on buying and scalping calls when SPY looks extremely bearish, when it hits that key support, crashes for those new lows, and then it just rips back up, I'm more focused on that. And in terms of the key level for that, like I said, 365.86. In terms of now, I'm showing levels of interest for puts towards 373 to 378. Right now, in terms of how are we looking with the VIX? So this is what I want to bring awareness to in terms of the VIX, right? So in terms of the VIX, we have a gap to fill below at $29.62. So we got to see how VIX reacts at this key gap fill level. Another make it or break it level for the VIX is going to be this gap fill level here that already filled at 27.75. So we got to see how VIX reacts at those two key levels heading into tomorrow. Got to see how it reacts towards there. It also has very strong and heavy support at 23.74. Now, what's the overall picture? What's the overall picture right now? The overall picture from a macro perspective, so like micro, we're having our bounce. We're going to start to pump up a bit. SPY is going to attempt. So the true best level for the SPY puts heading into this week, some levels of interest. We got multiple gaps to fill above. We got a gap to fill above right here at 379.20. There's a gap to fill above right there at 379.20. That's going to be one of our best levels to play puts into this week. We have another gap to fill right here at $389.80. And then in terms of the big position size, best price, amazing setup opportunity for puts, $401.44. So pretty much all three of these levels are levels of interest to scalp a put and get in and get out if we get the confirmation, right? The higher the level, the better, and the more likely it is to crash. So we're due for some sort of bounce, and we are seeing some sort of gap up. But we now do have that gap to fill below, and that gap to fill that's waiting to fill below will be filled within time. And if you go back throughout the daily chart of the SPY, this is not the bottom, guys. We have so much more downside to go in terms of things to bring awareness to. Once we really start taking out this these 360s, we got multiple gaps with not much support that are waiting to fill below. We got a gap to fill below in the 320s. We got a gap to fill below in the 330s. We got a gap to fill below in the 340s. We got a gap to fill below in the 350s. We got so many gaps that are waiting to fill below. I mean, in terms of where one of the potential bottoms can be, and one of my theories is just looking at this chart, if we look very, very closely on the SPY, some of the potential bottoms can potentially, one key level of interest is this right here. This is going to be one of my key levels of interest. Not confirmed yet, but this is definitely where I'm going to consider to start investing, some of my money into stocks, not all of it. Like I'll save some in case it goes lower, but potentially 40 to 50% when it gets to 30, maybe 30%. That's 40 to 50% would be too much at this level. But one key level that I'm very interested in potentially investing some into would be right here, $326. When SPY drops to 326, that would be where I'm interested in investing some. I'd say like 20 to 30% of what I plan to invest, right? In terms of how ugly we can get very, very ugly, guys. We can get extremely ugly. This can get extremely, extremely ugly if we crack some key critical support. If that 330s, that 320s can't hold up, there's not much support. If flash crash, there's multiple gaps to fill below. But in terms of where I would start putting some money into the market, I would probably put some money into the market into the 320s, but that's just all speculation. I got to see how it reacts. I got to see how it looks at the time. We got to see what's going on during that time. But if that cracks, things are going to get very, very ugly. Like we're looking at 280s. There's also a gap to fill right here, all the way at 220s. That would be like the absolute lowest, absolute bottom. If SPY hit 220s within the next 2 years, I would most likely just literally like full port into investing and then rebuild my options account if it dropped that low. But yeah, we got to wait. We got to see how things react. I mean, this is in terms of this year, and we will get there within time. I'm telling you, these two levels, this 326 and this 338, those are going to be two key levels in terms of resistance and in terms of support. Those two levels are going to really help give us a direction on where we're going to be heading for the next I would say 6 months, for the next 6 months in terms of like where we're overall going to be heading for the macro within time. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting, man, especially this 326 support level. That can be a good time to start deploying some money into the market. And if it does just snap and crash within time, then I would start adding right there towards 285. And then I would add the heaviest right here towards 220s. So I wouldn't put it all in at once. In terms of the levels, right? And like I told you guys, all I'm focused on doing right now, I'm not focused on investing into anything right now. I'm just doing what I've been doing, just trading. All I've been doing is trading options, compounding the account, building the account, and then growing the business, growing Trader Society. And then once I feel like it's going to be a great time to start investing, then I'm going to start deploying, money into the stock market. And the way I basically would do that is I wait for the key best levels. I start deploying about 33% of what I want to do. And then I only average down on massive drops. What would I define a massive drop? With levels being this bad, I would say like a massive drop would be about 25%, 25 to 30%. So if it drops 25, 30% against me, then I would add the extra 33 to 40% of what I plan to do. So in terms of like key levels for investing, like I said, 326, that would be one of the worst levels. The second best level would be 285, and then the best level would be 224. This is all definitely possible within the next up to, I would say, like 2 years. It's definitely possible, man. If you go back and watch my videos, people thought I was absolutely crazy for saying SPY would go to 390 this year. And I was saying that when SPY was in the 470s, I was saying 390s at least this year. And we already dipped into the 360s, and we still have, a little bit more than 5 months to go. So, yeah, we'll see where things head off, man. But I gave you guys the 3 levels in terms of potential levels to start investing into stocks from, worst to best. But that's my thoughts. That's my analysis in terms of the SPY, in terms of the VIX. One thing I want to bring awareness in terms of the VIX is kind of looking like it wants to squeeze within, I'm talking from a macro point of view. This chart doesn't look that bullish for the micro, and we got a gap to fill below at 29.62. So we got to see how it reacts towards these key supports. But overall, it looks like VIX kind of wants to set up for some sort of squeeze from a macro point of view. If you just look right here on the squeeze indicator, we have the teal blue. It's been trying to pump since that triggered. Whenever it forms that teal blue, you could just see right here when that small teal blue starts to begin, VIX goes higher within time. VIX goes higher within time. VIX goes higher within time. So basically what can be potentially happening is we can see some sort of basically another micro bull trap where SPY pumps up a little bit, and then the bulls get trapped, and then SPY goes lower. And when it cracks 362, it sells off to that. When it cracks 365, it sells off to the next level into the 350s. I think from an overall point of view, that's what's getting ready to happen, just within some time, not right away. But overall, it looks like, from a macro perspective, VIX wants to squeeze once again within some time, and SPY wants to go lower within some time. So in terms of the short term, we just got to see how SPY reacts to the key critical levels. So one of the best levels heading into tomorrow, the absolute best level to play puts tomorrow. If you want to play puts tomorrow, the best levels to do so, 373, and 379.20. The higher the better. Those are the best levels. In terms of this week, the best levels to play puts this week are going to be 379.20, 389.80, and then in terms of a level where I would feel comfortable potentially swing trading puts, $401.44. Those would be the best levels, right? We are due for some sort of rip to 400. It's just we sold off very, very hard, man. I'm telling you, when SPY does it like that with these gaps down, like this can really start to get ugly if we can just take out that key support. I mean, just look at how it started selling off rapid here, and it was gapping down. It just kept going lower. It kept going lower, right? I'm telling you, in terms of when we really bottom out, the bottom really tends to happen when we just like flash crash, when SPY just crashes like crazy within about 3 to 4 weeks, and then that's the bottom. So we just saw a very, very ugly crash within the past week. So if we can get like 2-3 more weeks of that, where SPY just loses it and goes to like 320s or even 280s within the next, that would be insane. That could be a potential bottom. Basically, in terms of one of the ways to determine a bottom, it has to drop rapidly, very, very quickly. Like just basically flash crash for about a month. And then that's usually a great opportunity to start buying when it has a flash crash in about 3 to 4 weeks. Then start accumulating once you see some green candles coming in after a 3 to 4 week flash crash, after a 3 to 4 week flash crash, right? So I'm showing you some opportunities, and I gave you the 3 potential levels on where the bottom can be. So yeah, that's pretty much the game plan, man. But I'll let you guys know when I really start investing. In terms of investing, like I said, I haven't done anything. I basically only made like pretty much one investment this week. It was in Shopify. I didn't get in at a good level. But I knew the risk involved, and I'm still holding that position. And I've been, like I said, just sitting mostly on cash, just trading. I wanted to, make some sort of investment just in case, just fear of missing out. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm waiting for, guys. I'm waiting for those potential levels and those potential reactions for investing. In terms of some stocks that I'm looking at, Triple M, MMM, 3M Company. This is at some very interesting levels here. I'm keeping an eye on this one. We're at some very interesting support right here. You got heavy support at 131. It did recently crack. We're at some key make it or break it support with this one. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Other stocks I'm watching, keeping an eye on Lucid. So for Lucid, levels of interest to buy puts. Lucid looks overall very, very bearish. $18.02 is the best level for puts. $17.52. We got 2 gaps that are waiting to fill above. We can react as a resistance at those gap levels. I'll look to scalp puts. Those are going to be some of the best trading opportunities for this week. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to kill it on the SPY like I've been doing. If you've been in the chat looking at the SPY, looking at the SPX channel, you're well aware of the real-time alerts that I've been sending out. It's just crazy how spot on they've been. One thing and one tip I can give you with the SPY is, as of lately, I've actually been finding it more predictable and easier to trade past 11 a.m., right around 12 p.m., because the chart's already developed. If you just trade SPY at market open, one thing I've realized with SPY is it can be like Russian roulette at market open. It can be less predictable because the problem is the chart isn't as developed, and all you kind of have is that chart history, and sometimes it's not ideal to trade within that history of the SPY, depending on what kind of channel it's in, what kind of price zone it's in. So in terms of the SPY, I've been noticing it's best to wait for the big move to already happen. Just kind of wait for the big move to happen within the first 2 hours, let it do its big move, and then for the day, the best prices to buy puts and the best prices to buy calls. You have an idea because the big move already happened. Like what do I mean by that? You can see right here, SPY has major resistance in the pre-market, and it had a big move. That big move occurred in the pre-market. So if you see a rapid spike in the morning back to the pre-market highs, there you go. The big move already happened. So that could be a confirmation to play puts with the bearish candlestick, like Chuckles did within the chat. Big shout out to Chuck. So just basically, if this move didn't happen in the pre-market, it would be less predictable to buy puts on SPY because there was no big move. Basically, what I'm telling you is wait for a big move to happen. Try not to get in on the first big move. Study the pre-market. If a big move doesn't happen in the pre-market, then wait for the market open. Wait for the first hour to pass by. Wait for the big move. And then you can see right here, the big move already happened. Check this out. SPY goes from 369 and it goes even lower to 362 from 362. So SPY is forming lower lows and topping out at pre-market resistance. Now get this, if that occurs and we're in such a bearish sentiment, it would be an absolute gift if SPY just rockets back to the pre-market highs, to the high of day. And as you can see, one opportunity to buy puts right here, one opportunity to buy puts right here. And I took advantage of those opportunities to buy puts on Friday because I recognized the big move occurred multiple times. It topped out in the pre-market, big downside potential and new lows. So if this has the audacity to just fake pump back to the high of day, this is going to be an opportunity to play puts because it had its big move. It failed to break out at the market open. It reached for lower lows and it just shoots back instantly to the pre-market highs, to the high of day. You really think it's going to be strong enough to hold up? You really think it's going to have some sort of massive breakout? No, it's getting lower lows. We're in a bearish sentiment. It failed to break out and turn into support in the pre-market. It reached for lower lows. What common sense would, what kind of reality, what common sense would say that we're going to break out and we're going to turn into strong support? So when would you buy the puts? One confirmation you can use is the wicks. Look at the candlesticks. When you see those wicks at that key resistance, when the big move has already occurred, that's your confirmation to start playing some puts. When you see that failed breakout, that big red candle come in, those trend reversal candlesticks come in, those wicks, those red bearish candlesticks come in, all opportunities to play puts. And this was one of the things that I was doing on the spot. I was playing puts at that key resistance level. So that's one tip I can give you on the SPY is wait for a big move to occur. And then you know where the best prices to buy is. So the big move was from 369 all the way to 362. So what's the best price to buy calls? 362. How do you know that? You know that when it has a massive spike. So when do you know that by? You know that by right here because it just had a massive spike off the lows. So this is the middle of the channel. This is the top, this is the low. Best price to buy calls right here. Best price to buy puts right here. That's just some of the basics. But if you wait for a channel to develop and don't get in right away, you're going to have much better odds of success and getting a much better entry. So focus on trading the best setups at the best prices. But yeah, that's going to be the game plan. And heading into tomorrow, I want to see how we react at 372 to 373. We look weak. We look bearish. I'm playing puts early. If I get stopped out, I'll wait for 379.20, right? I'm just looking for some sort of big move towards those levels, and then I'll look to play, right? So it's going to be much more helpful and much more informative into market open and into 11 a.m. Like I said, one of the best ways to really kind of trade SPY, wait for the first big move to happen. Sometimes the big move happens in the pre-market. Sometimes it doesn't. And you got to wait till the first hour after, wait till all the volatility is done. So this is a big move, that's a big move, let it all play out. Then wait for the retest, right? So yeah, wait for big moves to develop. Wait for big channels to develop. That's some tips I can give you in terms of the SPY. And the confirmations, I would use wicks, I would use candlesticks, and focus on the best entries and the best prices. So like I said, some of the best levels into this week, this level right here, 372, 373. Crazy move is going down. 372, 373. Crazy move. I know this because look at this. Massive rip, massive rip. It's a crazy level. The sentiment is bearish. We sold off to new lows on Friday at 362. It reacted as resistance. See right here, 372, massive rip. When it reacts as a resistance, massive pullback, lower lows, right? So we're approaching this level. We got a lot of resistance, 369, a lot of resistance, 372, 373. If it reacts as a resistance, play the puts, ride this back down to fill that gap below. You got a gap to fill below at $366, right? So in terms of the overall channels and overall price, 372 to 373 is an overall channel. That's within the channel. The middle of the channel, 365.86. The low of the channel, 362. That's the current channel that we're in. So I want you to understand, we are in a channel. The middle, there's a gap to fill below, 365.86. That's the middle of the channel. The low of the channel, 362. The high of the channel, we're going to call the high of the channel 372 to 370. That's the zone, that's the highs of the channel. The pre-market is really going to help me determine what to do tomorrow, right? So if we see some sort of massive pullback tomorrow in the pre-market and we get a retest back to the highs, It should be a great opportunity for puts. We got to see how it looks. We got to see how this plays out. Overall, if this is looking bearish in the pre-market, we're going to be on track to fill this gap, and then we see how it reacts at the gap fill level. That could be a good opportunity to scalp some calls into a new low of day within the first. If we see a hard sell-off like this, if we see a hard sell-off by like 11 a.m. and it's at the gap fill level or lower than the gap fill level, that could be a good opportunity to scalp calls into the fear. Just look at this trend, look at this pattern in terms of call opportunities. Study this. Great call opportunity right around 10:40 a.m. and it had a massive sell-off, right? And you can see right here, great call opportunity at around 10:50 a.m. had a massive sell-off. You can see right here, great opportunity for a little call opportunity right around here. This was 11 a.m. Nice call opportunity, right? So around this 10:50, 11 a.m. time, if we're below this gap fill level, it's going to be a great opportunity to scalp some calls. So for those of you who stay to the end of this video, you really do get the best information, the best quality of strategy talk and information. So those are my thoughts. That's my analysis heading into tomorrow. I'm going to have multiple scalp trading opportunities. In terms of the SPY and in terms of trades I'm seeing at least probably 10 opportunities per week for quick in and out scalps where you hold for a couple minutes. We're not holding too long. If you're trading the close expiration, the returns can be as high as like 50%. Sometimes it can be 100%, 150%. If you hold up to like 30 minutes. But overall, in terms of my laser quick scalps, they've been about, 10, 20, some have been 50% returns very, very quickly, like within 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes even within a couple minutes, right? And that's what I'm going to be focused on doing. I'm working on developing a better strategy with the SPY, with the SPX. It does work for smaller accounts as well. I'm just making some formulas and some adjustments in terms of sizing and how to play it with the small account. But basically, if you're trading options and you have a small account, you need a cash account. You do not want a margin account if you are under 25K. Now, if you are above 25K, use the margin account, right? But you have to know what it is that you're doing. But if you do have a small account and you're trading options, make sure you're using a cash account. If you don't know who to use a cash account with, the best option for you is going to be Webull. Webull is going to set you up with the cash account. Robinhood, they're not going to be able to do it. Do not use Robinhood for trading options. Use Webull, use a cash account. If you have above 25K, use a margin account with either Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade or Webull. Those are the two that I recommend. The main difference is Thinkorswim charges commissions, and they're very, very high commissions with trading options. Webull does not charge commissions. Those are some of the main differences, but those are the top two brokers that I recommend for options trading. I really don't recommend anyone else. Not affiliated with them. I don't get paid a commission or anything like that. I'm just trying to put you in the best position to succeed. I've experimented with all brokers. Those are the only two I recommend. But I'm telling you guys, if you have a cash account, make sure you are using Webull. You need to be in a position where you can buy and sell the same day. You need to be in a position where you can enter multiple trades the same day. You don't want to get stuck holding. You don't want to get stuck swing trading. You need to be in a position where you can bypass 3 trades every, the PDT roll, right? And you could do that by having above 25K with margin or by using a cash account with Webull. Now, in terms of what are some of the things I've been thinking about with sizing, right? So in terms of sizing, it all depends on how big your account is with the cash account. If you're using a cash account and your account's really small, then that means that you're going to have to trade less. If you're using a cash account and you have a decent sized cash account with about, I would say, $10,000, then you can trade more. But basically, if you have a smaller account, you're going to have to size in probably 20 to 25% of your account per position size. Same position size for every single trade. If you have a larger cash account, then if you want to, you can scale it down. You could do like 10%, right? It all depends on what you're trading. So if you're trading the SPY, the contract prices typically range from around, depending on expiration, but they're typically around $5 to $6 at the highest, right? In terms of what strikes am I selecting, I'm always selecting the strikes that are at the money or slightly out of the money. So the furthest I go out of the money is 1 point. That's the furthest I go out of the money on my strikes. If I'm not going 1 point out of the money, then I'm staying at the money. So if the price is at 365.86, what strike am I going to choose? I'm going to choose a 366 strike if I'm buying calls and a 365 strike if I'm buying puts, right? That's what I'm going to do. So and in terms of what expirations am I doing, I'm willing to do same day expirations. I really rely on timing and perfect entries. So for me, I'm willing to do same day expirations. If those don't work out for you, then I would just do the next expiration after that, whether that's 2 days or 3 days. It will typically be, 1 to 3 days. But I'm willing to do same day expirations. That's just something I'm willing to do. I typically just go with the closest expiration. And like I said, I choose the strike that's at the money, the one that's closest to the stock price, right? So basically the one that's closest to the stock price. So if the stock price is at 365.86 and I think it's going to go up, the closest strike to go up, 366. If the stock's at 365.86, I think it's going to go down. Closest one on the downside, I'll go a little bit further out of the money. I'll do a 365 strike, right? Those are the strikes I do. I keep it very simple. Same thing, rinse and repeat, in and out. In terms of trading opportunities that I'm seeing with the SPY, not just gap strategies, like I said, I'm seeing at least 10. I'm seeing at least 10 opportunities per week. The win rate isn't that important. I'm cutting losses extremely fast. And this can work for small accounts. You just have to understand how to size. So if your account's super small, you're going to have to trade less and take bigger sizes. If your account's like a medium size, you can trade more, but you're going to have to lower your position sizes. If your account is above margin, then you could size in however you want to. You could size in however you want to on the trade. I wouldn't keep switching up. I would stick to one position size. But you got to make sure that you're cutting losses extremely fast, right? And you got to be extremely well experienced, guys. You got to be extremely well experienced to take decent position sizes. If you're not extremely well experienced, it's best to trade super small at first. Do not go scaling into big trades. But last week was an absolute banner. I do have to give some shout outs to some students as well. Some of the results that members have gotten within Trader Society, I mean, it's been absolutely unreal, guys. Last week we've had some big hitters, man. I've seen some huge hitters within Trader Society. It's absolutely insane, man. I gotta give some big shout outs because we've been crushing it on the SPY, and there has been a new scalping strategy that is in development where it's more than just gap trading strategies, and it's more of like scalping in and out. And if you're wrong about a put, you could switch to calls instantly, make it all back. If you're wrong about a call, you could switch instantly, make it all back. Like, big shout out to Gundy. His account is up 57%. Huge shout out to him with the cash account. The strategies can and will work for a cash account. You just have to understand how to size them, right? Big shout out to you guys, man. You guys have been absolutely killing it, man. This is, CXLI within the chat room. This is a huge hitter, man. And I'm telling you, this is possible with the options. I'm telling you, if you're trading stocks, you're trading shares with a small account, you're not going to see any results, man. I'm telling you, the people who are getting results, it's not the investors right now. It's not the ones trading stocks right now. You need a lot of money to trade stocks and make a decent income. It's the option traders. The option traders are the ones that really have that chance to make it big. Like, it's just crazy what you can do. Playing SPXW, playing SPXW put options, right? Playing SPXW calls, same thing, SPY calls, SPX calls, QQQ, right? It's absolutely insane, man. He made $553,000 in one single day. It's a live account. Anyone who uses TD Mobile, TD Ameritrade, TD Mobile, you're well aware, this is a 100% live account. No questions asked. There's no way to fake this. There's no way to paper trade on a TD Ameritrade mobile app. This is 100% real. Thinkorswim can be a different story, but this is 100% real. So kudos to him, man. Big shout out, 550K on a day. Like I said, it's definitely possible. If you think about it, what you can do with same day expirations and sizing, scaling, compounding, having a good win rate, cutting losers super quick, letting your wins run. I mean, I've been in trades this week where I'm talking about same day expirations. I'm stopped out for 5 to 10%. And then in terms of my wins, they could be like 20 to 50% plus. And taking big position sizes, it can scale up extremely quickly with the 70% win rate. It's crazy what you can do with trading options. You have to know what you're doing, though. You really have to know and understand what it is that you're doing. But yeah, I'm going to leave it off at that. This week, it's going to be a short week. It's going to be extremely volatile. It's going to be extremely lucrative. And it's going to be one of the best trading weeks for 2022 because we're just at such key critical make it or break it levels. I'm telling you, man, this gap up is going to be an absolute gift, man. I cannot wait for another put opportunity on the SPY. So with that being said, guys, I'm absolutely going to crush it this week. I'm locked in. I'm dialed in. I'm back at my home setup. There's going to be a lot more content. There's going to be a lot more live trading footage. I got my editor, editors in place. Editing software is good to go. I'm not going to be traveling as much. Traveling can throw things off. I've been traveling a lot lately. That can throw things off in terms of managing all this. So you're going to see there's going to be some huge improvements moving forward now that I'm really blocked back in and really focused. But in terms of trading, absolutely killing it with the trading. But yeah, you're gonna see, man, you're gonna see the content, the live trading. There's gonna be a lot more live trades posted on the channel. There's gonna be a huge development in terms of my scalping strategy with the SPY that I'm using. That's far more than just the gap trading strategies. I will be trading SPY a lot more. You're gonna see some major shifts in terms of like me mainly trading SPY, but also trading the stocks. But I'm telling you guys, all you really need is to master options. So like our options trading strategy and the way we're trading options, it's fairly simple. You really need to master the SPY. The SPY is the best thing you can master. I've had a love and hate relationship with the SPY, but with what I know now and the way I've been trading SPY, it's really my main focus, guys. The SPY, and then of course the VIX. If you can learn how to master and follow the VIX and follow the SPY, like I'm telling you, this is all you need. And this is where all the big hitters are hitting. Like I'm telling you guys, in terms of returns like this, we're talking about $550,000 profit days. If you know how options work, you know how scaling works, you know how compounding works, you know how position size works, you know how to get perfect entries, you know how to trade same day expirations, you're well aware that all of this is possible. Now, in terms of for this to actually be possible, it happens with the SPY, guys. There's other options, you know, there's Tesla, there's Amazon, there's not a lot of options, but I'm telling you, in terms of what you should want to master, it should be the SPY. It should be SPX. That should really be the main focus, guys. That should be the number one focus. This is where the liquidity is. This is where the thin spreads is. You can use market orders on these. I feel completely comfortable using market orders. It's going to be the quickest way for me to get filled is to throw out a market order on a thin spread, you know, with the SPY options, right? I would be less focused on stocks and I would be a lot more focused on mastering the SPY. That's where the money is. That's where the liquidity is. That's where all the big hitters are. Like, keep the focus on SPY. I'm still going to be trading stocks, but I'm telling you, in terms of mastering, SPY is going to be the number one thing to master. Not Tesla, not Amazon, not Apple, not stocks. It's going to be SPY, guys. Master SPY. That's what I would be focusing on. This is where all the opportunity is. This is where all the big money is. This is where all the volatility is. Like, this is it, man. It's literally all in the SPY. So I'm gonna leave it off at that. If you do want to, like I said, you're gonna see some major shifts in my trading. It's gonna be crazy what I'm about to do with what I know in the scalping. But yeah, if you do want to be a part of Trader Society, it's going to be that first link down below in the description. It explains everything on how you can join Trader Society. You can get started trading with us live at market open via live stream. I'm also going to be on, so, you know, during the live stream, you get to see me trade live, see the portfolio, see the charts, ask me questions live on spot. One thing that I'm adding to the Discord chat room, I'm going to try to do it a couple times per week. I'm going to try to get on the voice channel within the Discord chat room a lot more. So in terms of bringing awareness, you know, to scalps, especially with options, live streams, there's like a 10 to 30 second delay. It depends on, you know, how good your connection is, where you're located. There's about a 10 to 30 second delay. In terms of sending out a text alert, there's a slight delay because the person has to type the alert. So in terms of what is 100% real time, it would be a voice channel like on a phone call, you know, a voice channel within Discord. And not too many people are doing that. So I'm going to start doing that a lot more often. And like I said, with this strategy that I've been using on the SPY, it seems to be working best after 11 a.m. because that's when the big moves happened. And that's when the charts have already developed. One of my biggest inspirations for trading the SPY was actually G-Roar within the chat. He scaled his account exponentially from 5 figures to over you know, 9 figures trading the SPY within 1 year. And he's the one who really kind of put me on in that sense. And lately I've been seeing how predictable it can really be if you wait for the big move to develop. If you wait for that, you know, crazy sideways big move that we've been seeing a lot, that Russian roulette, you know, towards pre-market, towards market open. If you wait for that first hour to 2 hours to develop, and then you kind of just wait for it to retest those levels, it's very lucrative opportunities for reversals. That's what I'm really starting to see. And one of the things that G-War does is he never rushes into a trade. He waits for big moves to happen. And he kind of trades. I've noticed his best trades are made towards the middle of the day, right? So I'm really starting to like midday a lot more actually than market open. You know, at first, I've had a love-hate relationship with SPY, and I've mainly traded at market open, but I'm starting to see that midday could be one of the most profitable and predictable ways to trade the SPY because the big move has already occurred. So now you know the best prices and the best channels to be trading on the same day with same day expirations. So I'm gonna leave it off at that. That's what I'm gonna be really focused on. You're gonna see there's gonna be a lot more live trading footage, a lot more content moving forward with the channel. If you do want to be a part of Traders Society, surround yourself with the community, with the gap trading strategies. You get access to the video lesson library, you get access to the chat room, you get access to the live trading streams we do at Market Open, the voice channel, the Discord, the course, the video lesson library. It's all explained within the first link down below in the description. As soon as you join, it's a one-time fee, it's lifetime access, guys. I'm telling you, we are about to see some crazy returns, and I'm looking forward to it. With what I know with SPY now, from the people I've been learning from my experience trading it, from studying it, I am looking forward to continuing to use this new scalping trading strategy that I've been starting to use. So I'm gonna leave it off at that, and I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open.